Yep.
Morning, Dr. King. Thank you for granting an interview to us. A few short questions. The title of your talk today was The Most Compelling Civil Rights Issue. Can you tell us exactly what you mean by this?
Life is a very compelling civil rights issue. In the 20th century, civil rights involved skin color, and we still have the women's rights issue as well. And towards the mid-century, when abortion became illegal in 1973, we began to know that the life of the little baby in the womb was also a civil rights issue. Many people did not recognize that in the 20th century, but now in the 21st century, we are really explaining and broadcasting the truth that life from conception until natural death, regardless of skin color, ethnicity, social background, whether someone is rich or poor, young or old, life is a civil right. So that's from conception until natural death and everything in between. We want people to have prosperous, healthy, and blessed lives, and that is why we say that life is a civil right.
Founder of Planned Parenthood, Margaret Sanger, was a known bigot and racist who wanted to get rid of the poor in the world and the black problem, as she put it. Why hasn't the black community risen up against Planned Parenthood? Because these are the very people who are trying to eliminate the black race.
The African American community is becoming very aware that Planned Parenthood is not our friends. It has taken many years to get this information and truth to be told. Planned Parenthood in 1966 attempted to award my uncle, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., with the Margaret Sanger Maggie Award. He declined that award. He did not accept that award. His wife attended the ceremony, read a speech that someone else wrote, and they tried to use that as an endorsement for their work. However, African Americans are now learning through a film, My Alpha 21, Blood Money, and there are many pro-life films now that tell the truth about Planned Parenthood, about eugenics and genocide. The African American community is becoming more and more and increasingly aware of these tactics. And so you see now that the African American community is, in the 21st century, a growing and significant voice for life.
Thanks be to God for that. Do you see racism as one of the motivating factors of abortion?
Racism is a motivating factor for abortion. Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, said colored people are like weeds, and they need to be exterminated. We don't want the word to get out. Let's cultivate some of their leaders to help us with that message. My uncle, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who was offered the award but did not accept the award, his wife did, he said Negroes cannot win if we are willing to sacrifice the futures of our children for immediate personal comfort and safety. And so, therefore, you have Martin Luther King Jr. saying injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Don't be like the Romans who practiced infanticide. And so he talked about the sanctity of life throughout his ministry. My grandfather, Dr. Martin Luther King Sr., the father of Martin and Alfred, my dad, and Christine, was very pro-life, a pro-life champion all of his life. And so it is very important that African Americans continue to be educated, informed, and made aware of the horrors of genocide and eugenics, which are not limited to, but they include abortion, the high levels of incarceration of African Americans in our prison system, the high levels of school dropouts in the African American community, the high levels of illnesses that are related to lack of education as far as health issues in the African American community. The highest number of deaths by genocide and eugenics in the African American community occur in the abortion process at these abortion clinics. And so we are now informing the African American community of these truths.
Now, I understand that you yourself have had an abortion. What effect did that have on you?
I had 2 abortions and a miscarriage related to the abortions, and I tell that whole testimony. I encourage people to Google, how can the dream survive if we murder the children? You can post that link on your website as well.
That would be wonderful.
And so I am a post-abortive woman, and I participate in the Silent No More Awareness campaign and the Rachel's Vineyard campaign.
What inspired you to get involved in the pro-life movement?
I was born again in 1983, and I became a voice for life at that time. In the mid-70s, my grandfather, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., my grandfather, Dr. Martin Luther King Sr., and the father of a child that I was carrying convinced me that the baby was a human being with a right to life. And that was in the mid-70s. And then 83, when I became born again, I became a voice for life.
Well, we know that the media is just blatantly pro-abortion. News, print, everything. How do you suggest we educate the public to the horror of abortion?
Well, there's beginning to be a lot of success even with the media. I'm now in mainstream media will often interview me and ask me similar questions to what we're asking here, and I encourage them to see the Moffat 21 trailer, the Blood Money trailer, to read my testimony. And as more of that is occurring, we in the pro-life community must become media savvy as well. We must use the technology that is here, the internet, the tweets, the Facebook, the iPads, and all of this. We must broadcast the message. And I have discovered that even members of the media, when they hear my presentations, I find that with fairness they begin to publish what I'm saying. And I'm thinking that if we don't necessarily consider the media to be an enemy, but the media that needs to be alerted and informed as well. And so that's part of my effort.
That's wonderful. What would you give as suggestions to people who have not been involved in pro-life but are seriously wanting to be involved? What would you suggest they do and get started?
Anyone who wants to join the pro-life movement, there are many ways to join. Vote pro-life. Encourage those who are running for office or who hold office to be pro-life. Participate with a local pregnancy care center. Protest in front of an abortion clinic. Give donations to centers who support mothers and fathers and families who need help. Support marriage and support abstinence and all of those kinds of movements. There are so many things. Encourage your pastors and your leaders to inform the congregations about life. There are so many opportunities in many ways. So find out who the local pro-life entities are in your community, and when you find out who those local leaders are, find out what they're doing and join them, and pray. Praying is very important.
Thank you, Dr. King, so much for your time. We appreciate it, and God bless you.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you.